Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra Podcast with Jay and Bay, the #1 source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some Poro snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra Podcast with Jay and Bay. We've got a fantastic show for you today. We're going to be diving into a lot of the recent happenings in the LOR scene. First, though, we need to thank all of our patrons and subscribers. Thank you guys so much for supporting us, letting us do what we love to do, which is bring you awesome content like this podcast, articles over on the website, videos on YouTube, tournaments, and general snarky comments like this one. All right, Bay. That's all I got.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one today. First off, we took a week off last week. First one in a while. It felt needed as we are coming on our 1-year anniversary. Looks like next weekend will be 1 year. We next Friday will be March 4th. Our first episode ever that went up was March 3rd. Definitely have some fun stuff planned for you guys. I want to go back through some of our early episodes and like laugh at them and like.
Zero is probably not even that good. Did
I say that?
I don't know. It sounds like something you would say.
Sounds like something I would say.
I think maybe we're overreacting and TF is.
Yeah, I think everyone just needs to chill out. It's probably okay.
Counters will come out.
Yeah, the meta will balance itself. Or like your first YouTube video, or like, hello, I am Ajay Bay.
God.
Today we will cover a deck. I hope you will enjoy it. Now I will blink.
I blinked when you said now I will blink. I played it on stream yesterday and people lost it, dude.
Dude,
it
it's
was
so
funny. Yeah. Or not yesterday, whenever the last time I streamed it. I've had a weird like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've been like sick, out of town, grandpa passed, sick again. It was like really strange.
And you want a PTQ.
And then I want a PTQ for Flesh and Blood. That was dope. We could talk about that a bit at some point if we want to.
But just a very like roller coaster ride.
It was
a
weird.
Couple weeks.
It was really weird. I would say very exciting couple weeks. Not all things were exciting in a good way, but stuff happened. You know what I mean?
A lot of adrenaline pumping stuff. Yeah.
Some stuff happened.
We also didn't talk about your top 32 yet because I think.
No, we didn't. I showed up.
That would have been last week.
Darkness shit the bed, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, I just got bodied.
I played Darkness, didn't draw a hand that did stuff and lost, and then that was the end of top 32.
What was your lineup? Darkness,
TF Nami, AK, Arcane, Shadow Owls. I think I was like poised to do quite well. And then Bandletree made a fat run, which was unexpected.
I mean, our group thought Bandletree was solid.
Our group thought Bandletree was solid, but the problem is like if you run into the Demacia lineups, you just get rolled, or like TF Nami, and like the triple tree lineup, like one half of the bracket just like dumpsters it, and the other half just like doesn't. There's like 4 Lee Syndex in top 32, and they ran into 2 of them on their route to like win, which not taking anything away, like they played phenomenally, right? And like it's a meta call. They took a gamble and it paid off, right? But like
which is kind of what you have to do.
It's what you kind of have to do in top 32. I mean, I was watching some of its matches and it's like, yeah, when it won its good matches, it did what it needed to do, and then in its bad matches, it just like absolutely high roll people, and like their opponents just didn't get there. You know what I mean?
But
which you have to do.
Yeah, and I've been playing a lot of Tree this season, and the deck does it well, and that's one of the reasons I like the deck is that there's no matchups where like, oh, I'm playing this now, and like, yeah, we're just done here. It's got game against everything, and
I think it got a lot better with Gnar and stuff.
Yeah, oh for sure, yeah, because the aggro plan is even stronger now. And man, sometimes you just aggro people out. Like there's matchups where I'm like, oh, this is unwinnable. It's just like, nope, I just ran you over. It's like guy, poppy, guy.
And plus, like, you get to play the best removal spells in the game, and like Ravenous Flock and stuff, right? Pokey, Ravenous, like those cards are nuts. Buster Shot, that's always turned on. Very strong deck.
Mini Morph,
yeah, very strong deck. I hate playing against Banal Tree like so much. I cannot stand it.
Oh really?
Yeah, it like
doesn't bother me.
There's not a lot of decks that I play against that like actually just piss me off when I see it, and Banal Tree is one of them.
That's not true. There's actually, there's decks that piss you off when you play them, which is different.
Yeah, but not very many that I piss me off when I play against. It's like Banal Tree.
It makes me sad to hear you say that because you're not alone. I've read that comment quite a bit. A lot of people don't like it. Some YouTuber that I stumbled across, Mog something, he doesn't like it.
Mog something.
Yeah,
some small YouTuber, maybe.
I guess. I don't know. I think he's from Brazil.
Had a Brazilian flag behind him.
yeah, that's him. Yeah, you know him. Mog guy.
Mog something. Yeah.
So he doesn't like it either. He's not a fan of it. So I didn't watch any more of his videos. I try to keep it as long as I could. And it makes me sad because I really like that deck. I really enjoy it. It doesn't bother me at all to play against it. And so, other decks like that, like Timelines, like the original Timelines combo deck got chopped. And it was, it upset me because, or maybe sad because it seemed like that's where Riot was going, where they just didn't want stuff like that. It seems like they obviously do want alternate win conditions because they're printing these cards.
Because they're printing them, yeah.
But I guess like a 2-card combo that's really bad that sometimes kills you. It was like too much for them or something.
Guess,
yeah. I mean, some of their nerfs and stuff. The people making these decisions are not like high level competitive people, so thus sometimes you get TF Fizz survives for forever because they're like, I don't know. This deck seems beatable.
It's just kind of whatever.
Okay.
It's only like 52% win rate at lower, elos. It's fine.
Stuff like that. Or so like when Poros first came out, they're like, is Poros gonna be a problem? I was like, no.
We thought so for 6 whole hours.
Don't listen. Yeah. I never thought so because I was on Ari Kennen Absolver the whole time, and I was farming the crap out of Poros. That's why I ran up so fast. I was like, no, you guys, we're okay here. Like, what, Pantheon beats it too? No, we're totally fine.
I played it like 4 times on stream before I ended stream that day, and just like high rolled people 4 times in a row, and I was like, is this insane? And then I played it after that, and I was like, oh no, it's not. It's just like I got lucky, which happens sometimes.
Okay,
you want to get into the meat of it? Or do we want to talk about... We can talk about my PTQ for a second if we want to do that.
Okay. I wanted to wrap up the top 32. What was the winning lineup? Do you know?
Triple Tree, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Pretty sure.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I checked in periodically, but after I lost, I was feeling very bitter. So I just like...
Yeah, so after you lost and after one of my lost, I watched the rest, but I was dejected and checked out.
That's how I felt.
Yeah. It's interesting when you have teammates that you want to win so badly, you feel that shit. And it sucks even more because you weren't there to it's out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's not how I watched the. Anyways, I didn't imagine that was Triple Tree. That's how
it was it was like a tree versus tree finals.
Okay. Sure. Yeah,
so
but I didn't
maybe
think
not Triple Tree one. I don't remember.
I feel like that would be news. I feel like everyone would be talking about that. And that lineup you'd think would see a lot of play and stuff this season. We'll have to go check it. So here's the thing. Wouldn't it be interesting if if Riot just posted the top 32 lineups on their website? Did they do that? Is that a thing? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. I don't think they do that. Or top 8 or the winning lineup.
They post the breakdown of the champions played in regions and stuff.
Who cares about that shit? That's like when these stats websites are like, hey, Freljord has a 54 win percentage. What the fuck does that mean? What the? They do it by region?
Nothing.
What? Okay, I'll go get my Anivia deck, I guess, because it must be winning.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna put more Freljord cards in my deck and take out the other regions.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah. Could you imagine a pro tour happening? Or at least back in the day when you were playing Magic, and not know like the winning decks
They're
or
just
whatever,
like,
or
congrats,
the
Luis
deck
Scott
that won.
Vargas, and you're like, what'd he play? And they're like, Magic.
Yeah, blue white.
Yeah,
like,
and PV1 white was very heavily played. You're like, they're like, do you know how many lands were in the top 8? 126 lands.
40% produced blue.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
many
God.
dual lands. You're like, that's sick. But like, please tell me what won. Oh man.
Okay, I got to prepare myself for this. Yeah, let's go to your Flesh and Blood PTQ.
Yeah, I want to talk about that for a second because that's happier than me just like bombing out of top 32. So for those of you who don't know, I like Flesh and Blood. I've been playing it a bit. My camera's still not focusing. That's kind of better. I've been playing it a bit. Every now and then, like when there's a gap in Runeterra, I'll go play a Flesh and Blood event. And it's nice because they have the in-person like Grand Prix. They call them callings. And I like that. It's fun to like see people, you know. So a new set came out and I dusted off some cards and just showed up to a Pro Tour qualifier for the first ever Pro Tour. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
How many players were there?
Like 40. Like not a ton, right?
That's still a solid amount.
Oh yeah, it's still a solid amount. And so I showed up with Viserai. If you guys are not familiar with Flesh and Blood, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a very, very fun game. Viserai, the Rune Blade hero, one of the Rune Blade heroes.
Of course.
And I just, it's something that casts spells a lot. Shocker. Yep. Yeah, I know you didn't know who he was, but yeah, he casts a lot of spells. And so I was like, ooh. And basically just like showed up with a deck list. A lot of people are boarding. They have a lot because you sideboard, right? And they have a lot of like defensive cards, like a lot of defensive cards. People are playing like 10 defensive cards and they're like 80 card list or whatever. And I like basically cut them all. One, because like I have no idea what my opponent's cards do. So I was like, how will I even know when to bring in the defensive cards? Because like I don't know what their cards do. So they could be like, I'm playing this hero, and I'll be like, I don't know what that is. And then like, what do I do, right? Do I board in defensive cards? No. So what I did was I just went like balls out and just like super just tempo. Like my entire deck was built around like forcing you to block as much as possible, because the more you block, the less you have to attack me with, and the less I have to actually know what's going on. So showed up.
Did you make this deck or did you like?
I took a list and tweaked it. Yeah, I took a list and tweaked it. But I've been working like Viserai is the only hero I've played in like their main format, Classic Constructed, ever.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was like, you know, months ago before another set came out, and before like a banning and stuff happened. So yeah, I showed up. I was the only undefeated player in the Swiss. Made it to top 8, and bro, I played my first top 8 match, and I had to read like half their cards. And they're sitting there just going like, yeah, you can read this. Like, you can read.
And this one.
Do you know what these
Also
cards
this.
like? I wonder at some point if people thought
game?
I was just like pretending to be stupid, you know, to like try to get an edge or whatever.
I wondered that about you all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. Basically, like played quarters against what ended up being, in my opinion, a very good matchup. My opponent was playing Katsu, which is like Ninja, and I just blasted him. My cards are just better. And like what I did was just way more powerful. And then the next match, I played against Dash, mechanologist hero, kind of like gets an engine going of artifacts basically. So they have a bunch of items that they build out over the course of a game that allow them to like supercharge and do more and more things as the game progresses. That's like how the Dash deck appears to be built. However, I know none of these cards. I don't know what a single one of them does. I don't even know what the hero does. So we sit down and he goes, I'm playing Dash. And I go, cool, can I read her? There's like 12 heroes in the game, man. Like,
okay.
And yeah, it's not like League of Legends, you know, and it has like one line of text, but I was going to
ask how many cards we're talking about here.
Not many. Yeah. Like, and in the pool, not many, but like, I had no idea what any of them did. If I read my opponent's hero, went, oh, and then he's like, and I choose this item because Dash is like, you start the game with like an item on the field from your deck. And so he goes, and I choose this. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's the item I'm choosing with dash. And I'm like, can I read dash? And he's like, yeah. So I like read, and I'm like, okay, it has to cost 2 or less. And then he's like, yeah, and I pick whatever the name was, and I go, okay, and I read it, and I'm like, oh, so it okay, it costs 2 or less. And then it's like, and it says something about like you pay 1 resource to like add a charge to it. And I was like, okay, are charges just like are they like an additional resource, or like do they do something, like do they add attack power or anything, or are they just a resource? And he's like, they're just a resource. like you clearly should know how this works. You're in the semifinals of a Pro Tour qualifier. And I just didn't know.
I love it.
But like, so I read every card this man played, every single card. And then now I'm very good with like figuring out the best decision if you give me all the information. Like with the given information, I can tell you what like the best decision is most of the time, right? Even in like a game I've never played, if you explain to me the rules really quick, give me a situation, I can be like, well, you probably do this, and I'll at least get close. So Flesh and Blood is a very on-board game, whereas Runeterra is very in-hand. At least how Runeterra has been played lately, because like spell mana is very important, priority is very important, right? Flesh and Blood's not really like that. And so I was able to like kind of figure out what's going on, and still, since I had such an aggressive game plan, win the game. I think my opponent may have made a misplay though. They like, because I don't know the cards, so I can't like say, oh, they should have gotten this, because I don't even know what they could have gotten. But like they were talking to their friend afterwards and said something along the lines of, I should have grabbed this card because it would have stopped this, and I've been like, oh, if they could stop that, that'd be really good for them. But then yeah, the guy was walking away, and I heard him say something along the lines of, bro, he didn't even know what my cards did. I have no excuse. And then yeah, played in the finals against Ice Lexi, who's an archer, a bit of a underrepresented class, I believe, in the last like entirety of Flesh and Blood. But right now it's really good. It's a taxing game plan, so it's like kind of nickel and dimes you with some hits with a lot of on-hit abilities. So like if you don't block them, bad things happen to you. And so that's kind of how it keeps tempo by like forcing you to block. And if you don't block, it puts you behind, by either making you pay more mana for stuff or discarding cards. So that's kind of how it plays. And I had a couple hands that like just didn't work out in a row. So I like surged ahead to a lead, and then I had like a turn or two where I couldn't really attack well because my hand just didn't work out. And so they got to like come back in and start applying these like taxing effects, keeping me from building up like a resource. So I was sitting there just like taking damage, just like waiting to turn the game around. And then and yeah, it was like pretty obvious, everyone who was watching, because it's a Pro Tour qualifier, so like everyone stays till the end. It was pretty obvious to everyone watching that, or it was pretty obvious to me that everyone watching thought I was like super gonna lose. And then yeah, I just had a turn where like they attacked for 1 billion, and I was just like, I don't care, I take it. Like I'm sitting with like 4-card hand and a card in arsenal, so like the max amount of resources you could have to like block with and stuff. And they're like, I attack for this and I pump it for this much, and you would go to 2. And I'm like, yeah, deal. I'm like, do I have to discard anything if it hits me? Like, what happens if it hits me? And he's like, oh, well, it does more damage. And I'm like, deal. Like, I take it, man. I do not care. And yeah, so it was really funny because I sat there and thought about it for like 2 minutes. This was a really like pivotal turn. And I look at him and I say, take it. And the guy was shocked. He was like, what? You take it? And everyone's kind of like lounging around watching. And the second I say take it, everyone goes, it was so funny. Everyone was kind of like chattering and stuff. And then yeah, I go take it, and it's just silent. Everyone's like, oh no, things are happening.
That's so funny. Everyone's like, yeah, that's what happens in Magic and poker all the time too. That's awesome. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, you're like, call, and everyone's like, but yeah, so then I basically just had like a turn where I was able to accumulate a lot of resources, have like a really big turn, and put them in a spot where they were committed to blocking for the rest of the game, basically. And if you could put people in that spot, it's very easy to just win the game. So yeah, I put him down to like 1, right? And then my class is very good at dealing damage in arcane, like magic damage and physical damage, which you have to block in 2 different ways. So it like splits their resources. So yeah, I was able to like clean it up pretty quickly after that. And yeah, took first, undefeated run. I'm now going to the first ever Flesh and Blood Pro Tour.
Dope.
Super
in
exciting.
New Jersey, right?
You're in New Jersey. I got a gold foil card, which is super sick looking. I showed you. I no longer have it because I shipped it yesterday. It's like a foil, but around the border it's like gold, and you can only get them by winning like major
So let me
events.
get this straight.
Yeah.
You can only get this really unique, beautiful, rare, expensive item
Mhm.
by winning a competitive tournament in Flesh and Blood.
Yes, is that not the greatest idea?
And people absolutely love this and pay
Yes.
hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for these cards because
Yeah,
they're so awesome.
My gold foil card is a token, bro, and I sold it for almost $1,000.
Man, could you imagine a world where someone named Jason repeatedly asked a company called Riot for something exactly like this because it would be so fucking awesome? No, of course not. That would be
really cool. Yeah, it's sick
insane.
cosmetics. Also, why do seasonal champs not have like some serious swag on their account? Like, what's going on with that? Something.
What the actual
When I load into a game against people, there should be fireworks. God damn it,
bro? Yeah, take the 10,000 back. Just give me a fucking like. Let me just like shoot fireworks at them out of my fucking pet or whatever. Like.
Yeah, I was really upset I didn't get a plaque or like a medal or anything for winning.
I didn't know I was gonna get a trophy for winning the fucking Grand Prix championship thing. I got a trophy for winning the $1,000 in person Grand Prix, and it was like just a normal fucking trophy. It was like something that you get from like Little League. You know, it's got the base and then like the cup and then the handles on it, and it's like gold. And I was gonna drink a beer out of it, but it looked like dusty and gross in there and shit. And I was like,
Don't do that. Yeah.
And there's like either like it just peels off on the inside, cheap as fuck. I was like, all right, well, whatever. At least they tried. But for the online one, I didn't even know I was gonna get a trophy, and I got one, and it's like fucking like it's crystal. It's got my name etched in it and stuff, and it's like it's freaking dope. It's I love it. I love it so much. Got it up on the cabinet. The other one, I don't know. It's in the garage somewhere. I don't really know where the hell it is.
Some piece of junk.
I'm like, I should put them together, really. But like, let's be real. That one
looks
cool.
just like kind of dinky next to the other one.
So
Flesh and Blood, that's fun. I like it a lot. I play it basically on my off time.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I also was not following along super well. You did a good job explaining it, though. I really do. I want to play it. Guess what? Just because the competitive scene looks fucking dope, and all my friends are playing it because the competitive scene is fucking dope. Don't even know about the game. I have bought a starter deck. It's in my desk from like 6 months ago or something. It's still there. Pretty sure my cards are all banned now. Don't care. Still gonna play. What was I gonna say? When is there? So the calling is the Grand Prix, right?
Calling's the Grand Prix, yeah. And then they have these like Star City Games Con, where it's like a bunch of Magic events and Flesh and Blood events.
When are they having an event on the West Coast? Are there none?
There will be one,
Central.
but they're like really bad at announcing it outside of like 3 months before they happen.
So all I'm saying is, first West Coast one, I'm coming down there. We're fucking doing this thing up.
I'll see
it's
you.
Happening.
See you there. It is also SCG, so like they fucking suck at doing things on the West Coast.
Well, but are all the callings SCG now?
I don't think so.
Because
SCG
Fireball.
cons are not callings.
Channel Fireball was doing the callings for them, and they're West Coast.
Yes.
So like, let's go, people.
Yep.
Get together. Fuck it. They hit Florida. They hit New Jersey. They're all over the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay though. All our COVID restrictions are starting to get lifted and stuff. We were West Coast. Anyways, back to
Runeterra. Isn't that what we talk about?
Matter
like that?
At hand. Sometimes, occasionally.
Yeah.
When we keep from crying. So, I don't know if anyone has heard, but a competitive announcement came out.
The new roadmap came out, and a kind of competitive announcement came with it.
Roadmap.
All right, so what happened? The roadmap came out. We have the next 4 or 5 months or whatever of stuff. And basically all it said was there's going to be some seasonals. And we're like, okay.
And Worlds.
That Worlds after. They said Worlds later. That came like right after. A little like paragraph or two, right? Saying, hey, there's also going to be Worlds. And then in the video, they're like, hey, yeah, guess what? Seasonals and Worlds are coming back. Also, we're cutting coverage for seasonals. And then they Lux emoted us. And so that people are not happy about that. For good reason.
I'm people.
Yeah, I'm also people. It's a really big deal. There's a lot of reasons why it's a really big deal, but basically Worlds, like let's boil it down to the really, really big ones. One, it's less support than we got before. they told us after Worlds that they were going to spend some time revamping competitive and stuff, and then we got
from their mistakes.
And learn from their mistakes, and then we got the exact same thing minus something, which feels bad.
Yep.
It's a little different if they finish Worlds and they go, hey, we're going to do it again, but we're going to cut back on some stuff. It would suck, but we'd be like, okay.
Happens.
It is what it is. But yeah, because I feel like they promised us or told us at least that, like, hey, we're going to be taking another look at it. And if they take another look at it and go, okay, guys, we're going to change things. We're going to have to like lower prize pools and stuff, but we're going to have this and this and this. We think this might be better. We'd be like, okay, yeah, I might not agree, but sure, whatever. But for them to come back and basically say, we didn't do fucking anything. Also, no coverage. That felt really bad. And then if there's no coverage for seasonals, they basically don't happen, right? For most people, like they happen, it exists. No one cares about it. No one's going to watch it. Like, how are they going to watch it, right? Swim, they're going to go on Swim's channel.
Is the 64 people from Americas and the other regions that qualified for the World's qualifier was the biggest names, all the biggest grinders, people at the top of the ladder, people that crush seasonals, biggest streamers, all of them playing for 64 of them playing down to 6 people, some of the biggest freaking competition you could have, exciting matches, big names going at it, win-and-ins happening. No coverage of it whatsoever.
No coverage.
Other than people like you streaming, we would,
and that's it.
Would actually know zero about it.
And like,
most people know zero.
If I wasn't streaming it, there would have been like a lot of no coverage. I know this because the coverage that happened was like homeboys, right? Like the Runeterra casters like banded together and made coverage happen. And what they did was they watched Twitch streamers who were in it. And so if like I didn't make the run, if I didn't stream it, they're just like a lot of rounds, there just wouldn't be any coverage, right? And so it basically felt like it just didn't happen. A lot of the community didn't get to see it. And that sucks because like you said, it was like incredibly exciting. A lot of storylines coming together, a lot of players that have been really hyped up, some of just the best in the world fighting it out.
Also gives you that like people can see it and be like, whoa, they fucking fought so hard to make it. Now they're invested to see how they do at Worlds.
Exactly.
They see how they fucking battled and fought and got there. There's the whole storyline. And this is the problem with cutting.
Imagine watching Worlds now, right? But you haven't seen a single seasonals. You haven't even really heard about it because no one does coverage. Because there's no official coverage. You haven't heard you don't know who any of these people are, right? Outside of like the competitive bubble, no one knows who these people are. And if people like me, people like Alan, people like Shihu, what am I, don't make Worlds again, it's going to be I'm not going to say it's going to be a bunch of randoms because they're not, right? And that's the point I'm trying to make. They're not randoms. They're not nobodies. But if you take away the coverage of the only competitive scene there is leading up to it, then to everyone else, they might as well be. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. And also, you can do coverage for not a lot of money. I have a pretty good idea of how much they were spending, and like in general, as corporations do be, they'd be spending some money, but like it could be done differently. It could be done cheaper. It didn't need to get cut.
Yeah.
And so, but on a bright side, the community is going to band together. We're still going to have coverage. It'll be a little bit different. It might be better in some cases.
I think Giant Slayer did a really good job.
Oh, I think they did. I think they did as well. Still could be improved upon.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because a lot of people have stepped forward. Runeterra Academy, various members of the community, obviously like Blevins, Boulevard, and J-Doza are always just casting everything for free. Those guys do the Lord's work. We're happy to step up and make some stuff happen through Mastering Runeterra, if we have to. So there will be coverage one way or another. Will it be as good? Will
not have the official stamp, which like sucks.
Yeah, my biggest worry is that like stuff like you're saying, stuff doesn't get covered. Like, I don't know. Like, I think what you'd have to do is for top 32, it's only 32 people. You can get them to like, add you so that you can watch them. But one of the reasons I'm not throwing my hat in the ring immediately or throwing Mastering Runeterra into the coverage immediately is because a bunch of other people are also doing it. And I mean, one, you and I want to play in it, but like we as Mastering Runeterra could still totally put on a stream and like get broadcasters and get a producer and like make the coverage happen. And I'm totally willing to do that. But if there's like if there's a million people doing it and it's like, oh, hey, you make top 32 and like 10 people message you like, hey, add me on friends list so I can do coverage. It's like a little kind of like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So there's lots of very capable people in the community. Happy to just help them and support it. And then if it's not getting done particularly well or just not getting done at all, then I think that's when, we could look into stepping in there. But let's continue on.
Okay, yeah, real quick before we do, because we're going to be focusing basically entirely on the competitive part of this announcement, which was a very small part of the announcement, but it's the part that pertains to us. A lot of really cool stuff that comes out or is coming out. Most of it's not geared towards us as the competitive players, the competitive community, so that is what we are going to be focusing on. Yeah,
there is cool stuff coming that does affect the competitive community, like big balance patch, and then reworking of champions updates, plus big balance patch, new champions like what's his face, Jin. So there is a lot of cool stuff coming, and we do still get worlds and seasonals. So that's nice. So getting back to it though, some of the issues that I have. I mean, the overall arcing thing, I think that you were talking about here is really bad. The fact that they took 7 months and basically were like, we didn't do shit. We're just gonna copy what we already had and remove coverage. Like, it's a big fuck you. It's a big slap in the face. I almost posted something on Twitter. Somebody was like, what are you guys so upset about? We still have all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not the point though. The point is like, imagine I was like, hey, your TV could be better. Give me 7 months. I'm gonna get you a new TV. It's gonna be dope. Like,
just hand it back to take away ESPN.
I was like, imagine I get you the same TV and then but there's no remote control for it.
Yeah.
Like, you had to get up and like change the channel yourself somehow. Yeah. That's the thing that's like, it's like you didn't even fucking try. So
even if you gave back a smaller TV, but you were like, okay, I think this is better because X, Y, and Z, and we can do this.
Yeah, now it's
HD.
HD.
Support it easily. We'd be like, okay, maybe not stoked about it, but okay, right? But yeah, just handing back the same thing but worse is so rough.
Thing. I was like, this is the response that I gave back to Riot. I was like, you couldn't give us one new thing. One thing that was better or new or unique or different. One in 7 months. I think, to me, that's unexcusable. There's no excuse for that. Like, there could have been so many things you could have done that were small, that were low-hanging fruit.
An announcement of an announcement that they're going to revamp Gauntlet a bit, right? Like, just be like, hey, we're going to look at introducing more cool cosmetics as prizes in Gauntlet. We would have been like, okay, that's something.
Rework Gauntlet, rework seasonals a little bit, rework worlds a little bit. Another big thing is they didn't give us the date for worlds, which was a big fuck up last year because like people didn't get to play because they like changed the dates last second and gave those to us last second. Like, people were playing all year to qualify for these. Give them a fucking date. I'm gonna try and be fair in our assessment here. There's lots of reasons that you couldn't give us a date. Because there's just, Riot's got a whole bunch of shit going on, right? You can't fucking double book it on things that are happening with other games and like other promotions or whatever. You could maybe give us a month that it's happening, 2 months even that's happening. Because that's another weird thing. They pushed seasonals back this season from April to May. Mm-hmm. So, and then the next one, they're every 2 months. So April, May, June, July. And then the next one would be September. And Worlds happened in September last year. So, gotta imagine this year it's going to be farther back, sometime in like October, November, December. That also means there's only going to be 3 seasonals qualifying for Worlds, whereas last year there was 5.
I have no
wanna
idea.
say.
But we think, right? They could say it's coming in December.
This is what it was. They took the ladder from all the seasons, but they took the seasonal points from
that's right.
just the last like 3,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And then the top 4 from all 5 as well. So the fact that they didn't really flush out Worlds, we also don't know the prize pool. Flush out Worlds.
We're happy they didn't flush out Worlds.
Every time. We also don't know the prize pool, which I think is also very unfair, that you're expecting people to give up their time, which is just as, if not more valuable than money, to trying to qualify for Worlds and not telling them what they're qualifying for. It's like buying a scratch and win ticket and being like, I'll tell you what the prize is after you scratch it. Like, nah, that's not how that works. And those aren't super hard things to do. The prize pool, especially, like, come on. So a lot of low-hanging fruit. Didn't give us one new thing, right? Like, really? So it feels like what happened is this is not anyone's responsibility, because it's not. We know that it's done by committee, more or less. There's no person that's in charge of it. Thus, other things like, if imagine you have a job there and you have like your direct, like you're in charge of whatever, social media, building new characters, whatever, game dev, and then you have this thing on the side where you need to help out with competitive. Like, you're going to make sure you're doing your own work and the stuff that like is assigned to you, that's your role first, before you worry about like all these extra things, right? So if nobody owns it, then like it's not anyone's priority. And you can kind of just see that where like no work was obviously done on it, because no work was done on it, right? They literally didn't do anything. They just like cut back coverage. That was the only difference that was done. Well, guess what? I can do that real quick. Like, guess what? No more coverage. Okay, we're done here. Like, it's 7 months, and this is where it came to. And so that to me is the biggest downer, that there's no one steering the ship, obviously, and it doesn't seem like a really big priority.
I think that's the big thing, is it doesn't seem like a really big priority, because I believe it's not. They released Path of Champions or whatever, and they said the player base is like doubled since Path of Champions was released. And
well, they said more people are playing Path of Champions than the other modes, which AKA is ladder, which nobody likes. By the way,
ladder.
I'm a competitive. Okay, you like ladder. The one thing I like about ladder is that it's fast. Like I like that you can jump in a game and play it. As a competitive format, though, it's terrible.
You want to play tournaments?
Like, imagine
that's the 3.
That's what I'm saying when I'm saying that. So like, you're not catering to competitive when you're like, hey, we got the ladder. People must not like competitive. That's not competitive though. That's like a joke format. So, when you have to choose between ladder, which gets stale in like 2 to 4 weeks every single season, sometimes it's super bad. It's been okay recently. This season, I think, especially, it's amazing.
Last season was one of my favorite seasons of all time, actually. Yeah.
The last 2 seasons I thought have been good, and there's been a lot of replayability. Though I can see how a lot of people wouldn't like last season. I don't know why so many people enjoy that Ari Cannon domination. It was different. I don't know. But a lot of the seasons have been not good. So when your choice is to play ladder or nothing, and now you have Path of Champions, like, okay, well, go play that. Like, a lot of people just want to play the game, right? Like, if you're just dirtling around and I want to insult people's silver, like, you're just having some fun just playing the game. Like, why would you not go play Path of Champions? Way better than the ladder, because the ladder sucks. Not because Path of Champions is necessarily so good. I don't know, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean to poo-poo on Path of Champions. I played it like one time.
It's really good.
It's not my thing. I like the labs. I really like the labs, and I like all that PvE stuff. Like, I like that it's happening.
You just don't play it.
But I think it's unfair. Yeah, well, it's not what I want to play. But I think it's unfair to be like, this is better. This is what everyone wants, when you're comparing it to a fucking ham sandwich. Like, like nobody wants competitive because we tried that. Well, you didn't. People love seasonals. Seasonals are a lot of fun. Like big ass tournaments. Climbing ladder, not fun. Not a good time. Sucks. Best of 3 ladder, maybe. So I forget where I was going with this whole rant. Where are we?
I think it's going to be like, No, I don't know. But but what I was talking about, and my big point is like, I am upset that we're not getting the competitive support I want. I understand that is not the direction. I do not believe that is the direction they want to take Runeterra. I think they see that the casual audience is much larger than the competitive audience, and that most people prefer to play the game casually. And it is hard to argue with them. You know what I mean? Like when
No, that's totally true, and that will always be true of every sport ever. Hey, I just heard that there's more casual people playing soccer than there are professionals. Like fucking shocker! Like everyone brings this up, like it's like, oh, like those are the only people.
But professional soccer makes
like, why do you have competitive?
That's the difference, right? Runeterra doesn't have that.
You're completely right. You know what though? Professional soccer, professional baseball, professional football. None of them used to make money. Used to be guys drinking beer, getting paid $10K a year doing dick all. Like it was a joke. Those leagues were like, you see the videos and like have you ever seen stuff like documentaries of like any of these leagues in like the 60s, 70s, 80s even? Like they're like people are drinking beers at halftime and in between innings and shit because it was like, I don't know, it's like trying to be a pro
card game player.
What do I shit on right now? A pro
card game player?
Yeah, exactly. Like actual though. Yeah. But like guess what? They built it. They fucking you think they had big endorsement deals and people were lining up to be pro sports players in like the 60s? Hells no.
Yeah, I think that was so. I think that's exactly what happened.
Hells no. Here's a good example. How about like the Canadian Football League? So that's a thing. We have a football league up here. Those guys are making like, I don't know, $50K a year. Woo, live the dream. Woo. A lot of them. There's a few stars. Or how about here's a very good example. How about a lot of Olympic athletes? A lot of them are working at like Home Depot or like working jobs, right? Because it doesn't pay. Their sport does not pay. You go win a gold medal at random.sport, you go back to working your job for whatever bullshit money. There is no money. There's no money in it.
But
those are professional.
I agree.
Sports
there is no money
people.
For the Olympic athletes. There is no money in Runeterra competitive scene.
Yes, but there could be though.
I don't agree.
What I'm saying. So, like for instance, swimming.
Sure.
You could be a professional swimmer and make some bank
for advertisements and stuff. Yeah,
you could do that in the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a professional card game player, and
in the 90s before Phelps. Name me a gold medal swimmer before Phelps.
I think you're more proving my point than anything else here.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that you build it into something.
Sure.
Like you have to build these audiences and build these stories and make them marketable.
No, it's not. Swimming is not marketable. Michael Phelps is marketable. Michael Phelps makes bank.
Agreed.
The sport of swimming is not a lucrative business to be in.
But he has lifted it for a lot of other people. Like I know other swimmers now because I know Michael Phelps.
Sure. Yeah.
Like now they get coverage.
Swim makes money. Competitive Runeterra does not. Is that any different?
Currently, yes.
Now, if Swim makes more money, and because he makes money, I make money, competitive Runeterra still doesn't make money.
Here's a good example. How about this? UFC. Okay. The first UFC, those guys made like, I don't know, like $1,000.
It's the same. It's advertisable. The UFC makes so much money.
It wasn't then. It didn't. The first UFC made no money.
And they struggled because of it. But you can advertise it.
Yeah.
Like Runeterra, you will never make money off advertising for Runeterra. Ever. It's never going to happen. Full stop. It's not going to happen.
Why?
No one watches it. It's a card game.
Okay. So people watch card games. How about this? How about chess like 10 years ago? How many chess streams did you see on Twitch?
10 years ago? I didn't even know Twitch existed 10 years ago.
5 years ago,
even. Yeah, chess had a big boom.
Blew the fuck up recently, right? No one was making money on chess. Now they got huge sponsorships, huge viewership. People are blowing up. I know a bunch of chess Twitch streamers and YouTubers. I don't fucking play chess. I used to, but like I don't play chess. I don't watch, but I've watched all that shit because it's all blown up.
That is a much better example,
and so
than all your other ones.
Okay. I thought UFC was a good one because you can track where UFC was like, it's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit better because like it gets on like some cable television. It's still a joke. It's still a joke. No one's making money. It gets like a little bit better. Reebok. It was a Reebok endorsement. Makes it a little bit more mainstream. They sell it to like a legit company. McGregor happens. They sell it to a media company. The one of the brothers sell it to. They like brand it with Reebok. Like, sorry everyone that had sponsors on your logos and shit. We're gonna make Reebok kits on everyone. Make this look like a pro league. Sell it for like $2 billion, and then have it like tank pretty much after we sell it. And then that company, that entertainment company that bought it, has built it into the behemoth that it is today. Like, you know, what it is, and that's not over very long. Like, when was the first UFC? Like, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago?
I have no idea.
Like, it went from being like a backyard joke, this will never go anywhere ever, to a multi-billion-dollar industry. No one ever would have been like, when it began, everyone would be exactly what you're saying about Runeterra right now. It's a joke. No one's going to watch it. That's disgusting.
Is that what I say
like
about Runeterra?
Barbaric.
I'm like,
this
ew.
should be, it should be outlawed. But no, but like it was a joke, right? Like, no one was ever going to watch UFC. You're going to be lucky if it just didn't get banned everywhere, because there was lots of calls for that. And there still are today. And not in our lifetime, it went, and that's all sports and entertainment did that. They started as something where some people were passionate about it, and they built up the scene. And it doesn't just happen by itself. It's not just like, oh, this would always happen. This would have always been a thing. Like, chess would have always blown back up. No, hell's no. There's no way. Are you kidding? It happened because Netflix released that awesome
Queen's Gambit
show,
is a
Queen's
banger,
Gambit.
though. It's really good.
And Queen's Gambit is a banger. Arcane was a banger.
I was going to say, we need a Runeterra show. But we did get one. You're right. Arcane.
What I'm saying is, though, I think it's unfair to be like nobody's watching it. Because first off, some people are watching it. Your YouTube channel is a good example of people that are watching it.
I do think it's different, though. Like, people don't watch competitive Runeterra. A lot of people don't. Like, and I think my YouTube channel is a good indicator of that. My meme videos do way better than my videos on competitive decks, right? And I think like my seasonal run videos do pretty good. I do not think they do good because people care about the competition. I think they do good because people want to watch me play in them.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And so that's how you build a scene.
People, yeah.
It's not just like, hey, here's $1 million prize pool. It's like, hey, here's Majin Bay that's trash talking Mo, and they're both seasonal fucking champions. And it's like, oh, who's actually gonna win? Who's gonna do better? Oh my god, I gotta find out. I gotta go and find out. I watch every Floyd Mayweather McGregor fight because I want to see them get knocked the fuck out as much as I want to see them win, because they talk a big fucking game. Fucking Floyd's still waiting. And that's why everyone else watches, and that's why there's just money. But the storyline has been also Brady. I watched all of Brady's. I mean, his games were super entertaining. So that's one thing. But I just wanted to see it. I'm like not a huge football fan, not a huge boxing fan, like a whatever MMA fan. But like I had to watch those things, and they they built those sports up. And so
I guess I'm biased because I don't watch any of those things. I don't watch sports. I don't watch like competitive Runeterra unless I think there's something to learn in it, which there often is. So I'll watch it, right? But like I don't watch. I'm playing a lot of Flesh and Blood now. I've not watched a single Flesh and Blood gameplay video in months. I watched one when I first started playing. I'm just not the guy that you look for that, maybe. So maybe my vision of it is skewed.
Yeah. You're not the target audience.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, like, long story short, just giving up on competitive is like short-sighted, because we're not asking for much, you know? Like, literally, if they had given us what they gave us, even taking like seasonals of worlds, take away coverage, and just give us like one more thing, like one more event during the year, reworking one thing.
Show that you work on it at least a
Something.
little bit would have been all I really needed.
Something. How about people in the top 32 now get like a special card back.
I think they do.
Fucking
no, that's like the normal
something.
one. For a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's been the same card back, not even re-chromed.
It's been the same card
I like forgot
back.
it existed because I
So-
already had one, right?
Exactly. So they probably did too. So this is what I'm talking about when like I'm like, you know, when I'm like, we want more for competitive. Like we don't need all of it right now. People always think that I'm like, I would love a pro league and like all this crazy shit. Sure. Do I want it? Do I expect it right now? No. What I want is just like a little bit of fucking help while I'm like shouldering competitive over here. You know, like there's so much you could be doing so easily. Like, let us help you. Take my money. How about you know what? How about copying like MTG Arena does with those fucking weekend
the MTG
tournaments?
Opens? That's
fucking dope.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Charge me $50 a pop. I don't give a fuck. I want to just go. I want to go play the thing.
That was the best idea
So, like,
Magic has come up with in 15 years. And I think they did it on a whim one time, and it blew up, and they went.
Here's another crazy thing. What if they just did like weekly updates on what they're doing, like now Arena does, bi-weekly, monthly? Just give us some fucking better comms.
Bi-weekly would be sick. Just a couple sentences.
This is what we're working on. This is the stuff that's coming up. This is something.
We got our eye on this card. It's doing pretty good. Yeah. I'll be visiting in a balance pit. Didn't they used to do that? Like way back when?
Yeah. It's just things have been getting cut back and cut back and cut back. And like, I get it. There's budgets. There's certain things that need to be worked out. But at the end of the day, things could be done better quite easily. And so there's not like, you know, I've defended Riot for a long time. I'm a big Riot fanboy, but this is
I don't even know if that's in the border.
It's hard to we don't know. He's wearing the League of Legends content creator program
hoodie thing,
sweater. It's hard to defend this. It's really hard to defend this. It's like, I don't know. It's like your kid fucking put in some work and got like a C, and you were just like, I'm not mad, just disappointed. Could have done better.
I get what you're saying.
Could have done better.
No, it's like your kid like phoned it in and got a C-.
You
and
phoned it in. Yeah. Didn't even fucking try. If you tried, you fail. Like, who gives a fuck? That's great. That's what life's about. But like, to not try at all is a huge disrespect to all of us in the competitive scene. I think a real slap in the face. There's really just, in my eyes, there's no excusing it.
So the big question is: competitive Runeterra dying?
Riot wants it to. We still have seasonals. We still have worlds.
Still have all the community tournaments.
The communities are going to get coverage going of seasonals. So we'll still have coverage. They say they're going to do a big deal about worlds.
That's corporate speak, man. We're pulling budget here so we can put it there. No, they're not. That's never happened.
Hey, I mean, it's not as bad as WotC's. We're going to take away $2 million of the $3 million to spread Magic around the world. I'm still waiting. Magic's coming.
Remind me. That was, oh my god.
That was the
moment that made me drop Magic. I remember sitting there doing the math because, you know, like I'd planned on that money coming. Because you were going to get like 7,500 just for showing up or something. And then, they basically just like cut it all. And I was sitting there with the calculator and I was like, okay, my like estimated value or whatever is like this much. And then I calculated it out after and it was like a 15th or something. And I was like, oof.
Yeah, which is so much worse that you like already qualify for something and then
they announced the prize pool and then pulled it all back.
It's literally theft. Yeah. It's actual theft. You paid money to play in events that they advertised a prize pool, and then after you had paid money and qualified months later, they like cut the prize pool. It's like actual theft. So
things could be worse. It is incredibly jarring for me right now because, like I said, I am playing Flesh and Blood every now and then, and their competitive scene is exactly what I want to see. However,
they copy
pasted old
the
Magic
golden
Gathering
age of Magic from like 10 fucking years ago. That was fantastic, and I don't know. It's so like why can't more Flesh and Blood seems to be getting a lot of things right. Because it's so ridiculous that all these card games fuck up organized play so bad. And Magic had it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, I don't know, let's try something different.
Yeah, now I understand it doesn't work with Runeterra. You can't just copy paste it because they're not selling stuff, right? Like Flesh and Blood sells packs, and these events sell packs, and a pro scene sells packs because people want to buy it and buy the cards and everything. I understand it's not 1-to-1.
Riddle me this though. If I'm playing a bunch of
Runeterra, buy skins and cosmetics. Yeah.
I'm gonna buy some fucking skins, some boards, some fucking cosmetics. If I'm not playing Runeterra very often, guess what?
I just wanted to point out it's not a 1-to-1, and I understand that, right? Like,
yes,
but yeah, not what we wanted to see. We're disappointed, and I guess we'll just have to kind of see where it goes from here.
It's just like the thing with that is that like expedition, like I don't know, you tried something out, it failed. Chess clock or the clock. Tried something out. What like organized play? Like these are things that have been done. Like I get like you reiterated on card games with like spell mana and certain restrictions. You fucking nailed it. Game's that awesome. Keep iterating. Cool. But get some shit right. Some of these things like the clock, especially.
I hate the clock so much.
Who the fuck's idea was this? Like, it makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
I don't even. It makes.
Why does it give you an extra 5 minutes after you run out of time? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it just have 5 more minutes of this?
That was it there.
Yeah. Nobody knows how the clock's.
And why did the first two games not fucking matter at all for how much time
for
you
the
take
player
off your
clock?
own clock?
Yeah, it just speeds you up a little bit. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows. Anyway. There's our downer episode, I suppose, of the podcast.
Yeah, and it's just such a piss off that it doesn't have to be this way. That's anything that's just dumb. That's just like makes no sense. Have you ever like gone to a company and tried to give them money and they were like, "No, we can't accept your money because of some dumb reason." I've had stuff like that happen before. I'm trying to think of like a scenario, but like just weird like. No, we only sell those on
I really want to buy your
Today's
thing.
Tuesday,
Please
so you
let me buy your thing.
I'm like,
and then it's like, no.
You fucking stupid.
No.
Yeah, I've had that happen lots of times. I'm like, this is just, I guarantee you, whoever owns this company would be very upset to find out that you're not accepting my money. It's literally what you're here to do. And so that's what I hate about this announcement is that like it so easily could have been better. Like I like cutting coverage. Get it. Cut back on expenses. There's definitely budgets to be met, whatever. But like there's so many easy things that you could do, like we're talking about, like the cool cosmetics, like unique boards. Like as a winning champion, as a winning someone that wins seasonals, how do you not get cool shit that's easy for them to like do?
Just re-chroma
have you not changed the card back?
Just make it red. Like make it red or gold.
There's so much.
Like, yeah. Oh well. Well, that's about. I don't have anything else to say. I think we've been rehashing the same thing for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Sorry, we're going some circles. Let's see. Lighter note. I will say though that like after playing competitive Magic for fucking 20 some odd years now, things ebb and flow. They go, different people come in, different people go out, budgets get increased, different strategies happen. So I don't think this is like a death knell for competitive by any means. Because I've seen this happen in Magic before. They went from 6 Pro Tours a year down to 3 Pro Tours a year, back up to like 9 Premier events a year. So like things go all over the place. They had Magic Online, which was a joke, but they were like the first ones to launch like a digital card game, and then Hearthstone came around forever later, and were like, oh, hey, look how easy it is to make like a much better program. And then finally they were like, oh, I guess we should stop losing all this money to them. We'll make MTG Arena. And they've been iterating on that for forever. And so like things change. Things are, we still have seasonals. We still have worlds. I still want to win worlds. How about you?
I'm excited to participate in the world's like qualification process this time. That'll be fun. I like to have something to strive to.
Yeah. I would not be surprised that in the future, when the pandemic has settled down more and we might get like a RiotCon or something, all of a sudden it's like, they want all their games to be like, oh, big deal, big world championships happening over this like weekend or 2 mega weekends, and then things get lifted back up, things get changed. So in the meantime, we are going to be running lots of tournaments. And there's, still awesome stuff happening. I'm still pretty excited for seasonals and for the qualifying worlds. It was really fun last year. Excited to do it again. People are still going to be gaming. They're still going to be climbing up that ladder, trying to qualify. They're going to be trying to win seasonals. There'll be a lot of good competition. So I don't think it's dead, but goddamn, could it be better?
All right.
That's it for us today. See you guys next week. Peace.